coming out here. I'm probably not the person you expected to be speaking at a farmers' protest. I'm 19, I'm at Victoria University studying media of all things. Not exactly the face of New Zealand farmers. However, I'm Peter Prouting, the daughter of a long line of high country farmers, and have been born and raised on that farm my entire life. I'm here because my generation needs to step up for the farms, otherwise we have no future in this country. This tax will affect every single New Zealander, no matter how far away from rural life you may seem. Farmers forced into bankruptcy, no longer spending in their local communities, causing those places to go under. The cost of food rocketing higher than it already is. The need to import unsafe and unsustainable beef and lamb from overseas, creating more of a carbon footprint than what we're trying to eliminate. More Kiwis unable to afford the basic milk, meat and butter, unable to feed their families. All because this government wants to be seen as the first carbon neutral country. Isn't it obvious how these unrealistic goals this government has set does nothing to help the climate or help the country? Don't they see that no one cares more about the climate than the farmer? We're the ones that have to watch our cattle wash away, and we're the ones that have to scrape through the dry dirt hoping something will grow. We were the original conservationists, the ones on the cutting edge of the farm environment improvement. However, all we are seen as are convenient scapegoats. In the government's desperation to be seen as doing some good, they neglect to see us as people. We are just the farmers that are ruining the environment. The farmers are the ones that need to change. No longer a part of the team of 5 million, according to the government. We are no longer even people. No longer Daryl and Lynn, struggling bull beef farmers. No longer Will and Emily, struggling Otago farmers with a young family. No longer Calvin and Melanie, sheep and beef farmers who have already had to sell up. No longer Sue and Malcolm Prouting, who just want to make a sustainable future in farming for their children, who are at wit's end. Malcolm becoming more despondent and Sue fighting back tears with every new blow dealt by the government. They are just the farmers. These people are not people to the government. To me, however, they're my good friends, the people who raised me. They are my parents, who I love so much and have fought so hard and who just can't fight anymore. The family farmer will be the first in the long line of fatalities this tax will cause. First will be the farmer, then prices will go up. Our most vulnerable Kiwis who are already struggling will find it harder and harder to put food on the tables. Local businesses shutting up shop, plunging more people into unemployment. Young sheep and beef farmers unable to enter the industry and bring with them the new innovations, as everything's just going to be trees. Can our government not see the absolute devastation this will cause? We have a government who doesn't see farmers as people, just so they can check boxes and look good while not making any meaningful change. We have a public that goes along with the narrative that Kiwi farmers are the reason the climate is warming, when they're the ones that are going to be hit the hardest. At the moment, all we can rely on is each other. So thank you to each and every person who's made it out here today, and even those who couldn't. To every person that looks after each other when the government refuses to. For every person that checks in on their neighbours and rallies in support of one another. For all those in our local towns, communities and cities that understand the devastation this tax will cause to Aotearoa. Finally, massive thank you to Groundswell for being the only support to farmers and for bringing us all here together today. We can only hope the government actually sees us as people and decides no more, because we're not going to take it.
What an outstanding speech. Thank you very
Gotta get run over.
Oh, this whole time you were stringing me along. Now I'm crying, I'm trying to hold it down. Told me now you're less sure than before. What did I do to make you walk and close the door? Now I'm crying, I'm trying to hold it down. Oh, but I don't know what to do. What do you suggest I do when a person leaves you blue and that person is you? Told me now you're less sure than before. What did I do to make you walk and close the door? Now I'm crying, I'm trying to hold it down. Oh, but I don't know what to do. What do you suggest I do when a person leaves you blue and that person is you?
That man deserves a beating.
cross your mind. But I'm telling you this: don't give up the fight. Don't you give up, don't you give up, oh no. Keep on holding on. Don't you give up, don't you give up, oh no.
Oh, those two guys in Oh, this is brilliant.
No farmers, no flag.
I'm on the very point of the corner there, just as you go around the corner, going down Moorhouse.
Yeah, that's clever.
Jamie McFadden. I'm one of the Groundswell crew. The rest of the crew are from down south, and I'm one of the crew from up here in North Canterbury. So I'm a Groundswell New Zealand volunteer and a spokesman on the environmental regulations. Is that loud enough for everyone? Cool. In my work, my wife and I have for the past 20 years run a Canterbury-based environmental restoration business with several hundred farming clients. My brother's on the family farm, and we're one of those sheep and beef farms that have been in the media a lot lately, because we're going to lose quite a few of us if this legislation comes in, this tax. I'm actively involved with Groundswell NZ because our farming sector has been negatively impacted by multiple unworkable regulations that are bad for our rural communities, they're bad for our country, and they're delivering worse outcomes for the environment. The following is a Groundswell statement. Last Tuesday, the government announced the worst assault on New Zealand's farmers and rural communities in a generation. The proposal to tax food producers, our farmers, for agricultural emissions. The government wants to introduce an emissions tax that will, on their own numbers, rip out 20% of sheep and beef sector's production and 6% of the dairy sector's production. Look around you. Every fifth farmer you see here today will be gone by 2030. And the ones left will be under immense pressure and strain on their mental health and just on managing their farming businesses. The flow on will be less money to spend at local shops and services. The government's own document says that taxing our farmers will reduce New Zealand's export income, increase the cost of food for Kiwis, reduce farmers' income, and negatively impact on rural support industries and rural communities. That's in the government's own document. All of this extra stress on our farmers when New Zealand agriculture contributes less than 0.25% of global emissions, and we're the most emissions efficient farmers in the world. They also acknowledge this will all result in a reduction in food production, which will be picked up by overseas countries with less sustainable farm systems than New Zealand, leading to emissions leakage and an increase in global warming. Not to mention a direct breach of the Paris Agreement, which states that emissions reduction should be pursued in a manner that does not threaten food production. It would seem this government is just interested in being moral crusaders on the international stage, being the only country in the world who wants to tax its farmers. They know their proposal will drive farmers out of business and off the land and want to do it anyway. Well, guess what? We're not going to take it. We are demanding no emissions tax on food production. Stop the planned agricultural emissions tax and undo the legislation to put farming into the ETS. Groundswell supports reducing agricultural emissions through environmental actions on farm, not by tax. We're not gonna take it. I want to acknowledge Aaron, his organising team and all the other coordinators. Thank you. I see the West Coast guys have turned up just now. Where are you? Well done, guys. It's awesome to have people all the way from like the West Coast, Timaru guys over here, Ashburton, Darfield, all round the South Island coming to Christchurch and Dunedin. Well done. I want to, there are many actions that you can help and support us with. Visit our website, share our information, and there are flyers available, or print some off on your own and share them widely. I think some are being handed out today, so spread these widely. I mean, when you're in an airport, leave them on seats, in shopping malls, leave them on seats, leave them wherever you can. Support our Say No campaign. Say no to government mandated significant natural area surveys, state-controlled farm plans, and know your greenhouse gas number. Groundswell New Zealand are a nationwide organisation standing up for our country. We thank the huge amount of support, both rural and urban, and watch this space for more actions following today. Thank you.